Hey guys, and in this video covering the OCR A-Level Psychology Specification, the Option and Applied Psychology paper, and the Forensic option, we are going to talk about the stages juries go through to make a decision. Now, the study you need for this is Hasty, 1983. Now, I just want to say that this is few things I always say when I do these videos. Number one, I know you're not all interested in these psychology videos, but it helps me to learn, and it might be helpful for anyone who's doing this exam in the UK to revise when it gets to the exam, and it also helps me to learn, and I also think it's just interesting in general for anyone.
It's 13 hours.
Anyone to know about. So, what we're going to talk about today, like I said, is the stages juries go through to reach a verdict. And once again, this is according to Hasty, 1983. Now, like the last, or one of the last videos we did about Sutherland 1939, and his idea, differential association theory, as to what causes crime. This particular study is not really based on an experiment in the jury room. It's theoretical, social, psychological research, and it's being applied to juries in this case. So we're going to talk about it because you need to know for the exam, but just keep in mind that it's just a theory and there's no kind of experimental, if you like, call it that, evidence behind it. So when we talk about evaluation issues, that's definitely something you're going to cover. And I normally at this point, excuse me while I go into that direction, to look at my notes, but in this case I've got a book, so when I need to reference my notes, generally glancing downwards. I also want to say this can be a short video because it's a short theory really of the three main stages that juries go through and the sub-stages that are involved in that. So, Hasty et al. 1983 argues that any group decision making goes through these stages, like I was saying earlier, but that it can also be applied to the jury room. So, what are those stages? They are the orientation period. That's, as it suggests, when you're just being introduced to the jury room. You just getting to know people, and that's when you really discuss the facts, set the agenda, and establish any differences of opinion and issues that you want to discuss in the next stage. And that's really what the next stage is about. I've got down here that it's the open confrontation stage. People engage in fierce debate during this stage. There's a lot of focus on detail. Explore different outcomes. Put pressure on the minority to conform to the majority, which there's another interesting study about that in minority influence in the jury room, about how the minority can influence the majority. But that's not what we're talking about in this particular video. So pressure on the minority to conform. The last bullet point the open confrontation stage is a, a basic support for the group decision is established. So now they've got through the really the meat of making the decision, but the last point is that group support is established. The last phase is reconciliation. Attempts to smooth out conflicts and release of tension through humour. Now, so let's go through those again. We've got 3 stages: orientation period, open confrontation, and reconciliation. And the orientation period is where you meet people, you discuss the evidence, establish questions that you want to discuss, and differences of opinion arise. The next stage is where the real meat of the discussion process happens. You really like I said, focus on detail and pressure the minority to conform to the majority, which is a big deal. And then as a result of that, group support for the decision is established. And then in the last stage, you can't go back into the courtroom feeling really resentful to other jury members. So Hasty et al. Suggests that what jury members try and do at the end of this stage is release tension through humour and attempt to smooth over conflict. Obviously, that's not always possible, but the key concept here is they establish or they attempt to do that. So, again, may not always be successful, but that's that. So, 3 stages and dozens of sub-stages. This is probably one of the most simple studies, or not studies, ideas on the specification. Really, it doesn't have there's no causal link, because much like Sutherland, this is just a theory, and it's based on what Hasty et al. Observed in their time in doing social psychological research in a whole range of situations, but not the jury room, because obviously you're not allowed into the jury room when the jury is deliberating their verdict, so you couldn't possibly observe that. So it's based on other discussions from other situations, so they might not be generalisable to the jury room, because obviously deciding someone's liberty, the pressures are going to be different than lots of other situations, so that might not be able to generalise other research to that. What else? There might be some bias problems creeping in there, in the sense that whenever you do an observation, you might miss things depending on how they sample their data. They might have very sort of reductionist categories of what constitutes what, but the main issue you got to come up with that the evaluation for Hasty et al. 1983 stages of jury decision making is that it's not specific to the jury room, and it's also only a theory, and there's no kind of empirical evidence behind it. So that's that. We've been doing a lot of theory-based stuff, so in the next video I'm going to get to some more experimental stuff. Obviously, depending on what order you watch his videos, that may or may not be the case. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video, and let's just have a quick recap. First is the orientation period, next is the open conversation, and then it's the reconciliation. The open conversation period is when you discuss the facts, questions start to arise, and you start getting difference of opinion. The open conversation period is when there's fierce debate, pressure is placed on the majority to conform, and they do conform, and then a decision is reached, and there's a real sort of focus on detail. The last stage is reconciliation. Like I said before, they don't want to go back in the courtroom resenting each other. So tension is released through humour, and sort of more generally, there's an attempt to smooth out over conflict. So thanks for watching this video, guys. OCR A-level psychology specification, forensic option, Hasty et al. 1983. Thanks for watching. Visit my website address, it's down below, tom-rogers.com, if you want some of this. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.